Do you feel constantly overwhelmed by all the things you need to learn, all the things that you need to do in order to achieve your most meaningful goals? When it comes to getting to the next level of our career, the way that we define success for ourselves, one of the most important things is to constantly be learning so that you can grow and contribute more meaningfully, become bigger and better versions of you. Right? So in this video, I want to share with you a very special conversation. This is exactly a conversation I had with one of my clients. In my executive coaching program, every day we talk about how to exude confidence, how to communicate effectively, how to step up into leadership, and more importantly, oftentimes I get questions related to overwhelm. What do I do when I am so overwhelmed with all of this new things I have to learn? And then because I have so much to learn with the overwhelm, I feel like I want to give up. Right? I feel like it's not going to get anywhere. I feel like I'm not going to make progress. Or have you felt this way? That maybe it's just going to take a long time to be able to get to where I want to be. And that leaves you feeling overwhelmed. Right? So I'm going to share in this video, I'm going to share with you the conversation I had with one of my clients who was suffering from constant overwhelm. And the question she asked was, well, what do I do? How do I handle this? Is there a way to overcome it? So stay tuned and watch to the end as I share with you exactly how I coached her, and from that to be able to achieve your most meaningful goals as well. So I want to hear from you. Comment below, right after you've watched this, comment below and share with me what are your biggest takeaways. Because if you don't share what your takeaways are, oftentimes we tend to forget. What we hear, we forget. What we implement, we understand. So comment below. And also, if this was meaningful to you, then remember to give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, because I release videos every single week, more than once a week, on topics like this and others as well. So this is a very special video. It's a behind the scenes look at an actual coaching call in my executive coaching program. So stay tuned to the end and let me know what you think.
We've been taught throughout society and media and our parents as well, and friends and family have been programming us to believe that feeling overwhelmed is a bad thing. And so we assign these judgments to certain feelings, like feeling sad, feeling angry, overwhelmed, that's all a bad thing. But what if there's no such a thing as a bad emotion? Because all emotions serve a purpose. There's a reason why we have feelings. There's a reason why we feel overwhelmed or depressed or sad or frustrated. There are reasons why, because your emotions are pointing you towards what's true in your life. So when you feel overwhelmed, I'm saying congratulations, because it means that you are elevating to brand new ways of thinking, that you have opportunities, you have more choices, right? You have tools that you have access to. You just don't know where to begin. Compared to before, if you're not overwhelmed, it means everything's familiar to you. It means nothing's different. There's not a whole lot of choices, right? Everything's comfortable, it's manageable, which means that growth is also at a cap as well, see? So overwhelm is a very positive thing. Now, the thing with feeling overwhelmed is that it causes us to feel like we're back at square one. But that's a myth. You are not back at square one, because back at square one means no overwhelm, but feeling stuck, but not having as many choices as you have right now, not having the tools that you have right now to choose from, or the new knowledge that you want to dive into, and you know it's inspiring and worthy knowledge. So that's absent. So you're not at square one. So what do you do? The question is, well, then what? What do I do with the overwhelm? The key is not to try to get rid of the emotion, because overwhelm is a human emotion. And we try immediately when we feel angry, frustrated, sad, all those negative emotions, the first thing we try is, I gotta get rid of it. But you can't get rid of an emotion without at the same time getting rid of positive emotions as well. So here's what I mean by that. You feel overwhelmed right now, but on the other side of that overwhelm is possibility, fulfillment, performance to a whole new level. Fulfillment and satisfaction is on the other side of overwhelm. So if we get rid of overwhelm, you think about the things you need to do to get rid of it, that's going to take away the possibility of achieving those meaningful goals. So the key is not to get rid of overwhelm. The key is to understand what overwhelm represents. And therefore, we can formulate control over our reaction to overwhelm. So overwhelm, remember, it represents possibility. It represents already growth, access to new knowledge, and deeper levels of thinking, critical thinking as well. That's what overwhelm represents. So then how do we react? How do we inspire our reaction to overwhelm? And that is to know that the key is to grow, to continue growing from this. Because what do you want at the end of the day? Each and every one of you, what you desire is to master a skill so that you can be fulfilled in your life and in your career. Isn't that it? The essence of what you want. At the end of the day, you want to be fulfilled, being grateful, really satisfied with what you've achieved. That's the end. That's the essence of why we're doing any of this in the first place. Why do we work so hard at our jobs? Why do we work so hard to study in school? Why do we get several degrees? Why do we invest in our personal skills? Why do we put ourselves through this pain? Because at the end of the day, we want to have the best quality of life. Fulfillment, satisfaction. That's what we want. Right? So then our reaction to this overwhelm is from that place of understanding what overwhelm means. We can react to it by saying, okay, if that is the essence of what the aim of life is, why I'm doing this in the first place, then all I gotta do is start with what I know and let what I know grow. So this is powerful. Starting with what you know. Now that you've been here for several weeks, some of you have been here for a couple months, right? Now you know new things. Inevitably, you're going to know new things. So now you're starting with a whole new level of knowledge, knowing and understanding, a whole new level. So then you start now with what you know now, which is different from what you knew before. You just start there and you let what you know grow. So yes, there's so many things that maybe you need to reflect on and spend more time on to gain a deeper level of understanding. Sure, there's a lot of different rabbit holes you can go down, right? So many. But what if you just have to start with one? Literally, you start with one. Which one do you start with? The one that most inspires you. Because in this program, I've already formulated for you and curated for you all the key principles for achieving the success that you want. So whichever one you start with will work. Whichever one you pick to start with that you're most inspired with is going to be the right choice. Because you're not going to need to figure this out yourself. I've already done the curating for you. So you just start with one, the one you're most inspired with. Go deep on that until you have an understanding of it, until you can develop the wisdom around it. And then you go to the next thing. Right? The reason why we jump around in our overwhelm is because we want to do it all at once. And we're panicking that, oh my gosh, if I'm learning this, then it's an opportunity cost. Because I focus here, that means I'm not focusing there. So we're so caught up in the opportunity costs of focusing on one thing and therefore losing focus of another. But that's a scarcity mindset. That's a scarcity mindset. Adopt instead a mindset of abundance. Just because I'm focusing on this one aspect or this one principle, it doesn't mean that I'm going to lose focus of the other one. It just means that I'm going to get to it afterwards. And trust the process, that no matter which one you start with and you transition to next, that you are sowing the seeds into the garden of your future. These are everything that you learn, everything that you focus on are seeds that you sow into the garden of your future. And remember the 3 laws of harvest, right? The second law of harvest says you do not sow and reap in the same season. You never sow and reap in the same season. You plant an apple seed in the fall, you don't harvest that until the spring. And that same is true with our life and our career development. But you're sowing seeds nonetheless. Nonetheless, you're sowing and you are sowing. So if you are the farmer, which you are, the architect and the farmer of your life and your personal development, trust the process. That one day you will get to sow. But it's not in the same season. But you will sow and you will reap more than you sow. Because that's the third law of harvest. You will reap more than you sow. So these are the seeds that you're planting. It takes patience. Don't give up. Focus on one thing, because that's all we can do. Focus on one thing. Master it, move on to the next. And when you do that, the more you do that with patience and trusting the process, the more you realize the second thing, the third thing, the fourth thing that you focus on will take less and less and less time to master. I promise you that. It'll take less and less time. The first thing seems to take forever because we're new at the process. But now you're developing different ways of thinking. You're developing different principles that they don't teach you in school. So then the second thing you learn, you'll notice, oh, I learned it faster. And the third thing, even faster, and so on. So that's why I say this is accelerating your process. Accelerating your learning through developing who you are as an individual. So I am not at all concerned that you feel overwhelmed. Not at all. And you're not the first person who said it. You're not the first person who came to the office hours and said, I'm overwhelmed, I don't know what to do. You're not. Right? If you watched the previous recording, you'll see it time and time again. Somebody says, I'm overwhelmed, I don't know what to do. And that's what I mean. It's part of the journey. Overwhelm, frustration, fear, feeling like I'm starting from scratch, it's part of the journey. And I'm sure you experienced this as well in medical school. I'm sure you did. I remember taking pre-med exam. I did my MCAT as well, and I was overwhelmed. Right? There's four aspects to the MCAT exam, right? There's the physics and math, there's biology, there's also the essay writing, and then there's the English portion of it. Once I knocked one down, the next one was faster. And you feel overwhelmed because there's so much to learn. But guess what? You do it. It's part of the journey. Overwhelm, fear, frustrating, right? The scare, the feeling that, oh, I'm starting from scratch. I'll never do this. It'll take so long. It's part of the journey. I would be concerned if you didn't feel overwhelmed. Because then it'd be like, well, maybe you're not applying it. You're not exposing yourself often enough to the principles. If you look at the evidence of your life right now, really, you look at the evidence of everything that your life demonstrates, you'll notice that in the areas in your past where you felt overwhelmed, that you were still able to achieve what you desired to achieve. And that is true evidence, indisputable, because it's history in your life. It's an experience. So this too shall pass. It's no different. The journey is no different. The materials and the arena of focus is different, right? But the human journey of ups and downs, that emotional up and down, that is similar. In our schools, right? Even if in our relationships, we feel that overwhelm, and you're like you described, that process, that spiral is human. But don't shy away from it.